Everyman Podcast. Everyman, every way, every day. Daryl Campbell, what's up, bro?
Let's go. Let's go. You know what time it is, Brother Jay.
Listen, if you're watching this, you know that the podcast is now a video.
It's video.
We've got a video pod here, folks.
I love it, man. It took us so long to get here.
Hey, listen.
And we're finally fucking here, bro.
You know what they say? Rome wasn't built in a day?
That's true.
I think that's what they say.
That's true.
So, yeah, it's launch week, and we're very excited to be here. And if you've been listening to some of the little tidbits we've been dropping out, you knew we've been working on something. So for the last, I guess about the last month, Daryl and I kind of were looking for ways to maximize our Corona time. That we've and if I keep looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the monitor that's over there.
Monitors all the way around, man. They're all the way around.
We got lights, we got monitors, we got mics. This whole room, it's like Big Brother in a
do my hands
in a 10 by 10. So we were looking for ways to kind of, expand on what we were doing and take it into take the Cosmic Canoe to the next level. So the idea came about that we wanted to not only do a video podcast, but now we wanted to expand onto Twitch and do a Twitch live podcast. So this week, this Friday, you've probably seen the trailer, which we're going to play at the end. We're going to talk about the trailer. It's been on our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, all that good stuff. This Friday, June 12th, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch, the first ever live Everyman Podcast show.
Getting it this Friday, man. You got to be there. Got to subscribe. Got to get on that. Got to see what we're doing. Because the Everyman is in the building now, bro. In the building.
I am excited for it. I'm excited because we talk about stuff all the time. Like, hey, this video, that thing. We reference this stuff. And now we're going to be able to share it in real time. We're going to be able to interact with the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. They say, hey, chat. That's what I hear the kids are saying on the, hey there, chat.
What's going on?
So...
mash that button.
Mash the liker. So let's take it from the top here. So the Everyman Podcast, Daryl and I got together early on and we said, hey, we're going to share positive stories and try and capture what makes people that we look up to elite. Yeah basically. So on the path of doing that, we started we started building this Cosmic Canoe and people started jumping in with us, and we've been having a lot of fun with it. So the goal is to not only be able to show you our faces, our shining LEDs and our drum lights and the Mick Foley over here. It's not only that, but help you try and learn some stuff that we're working on too, with some of our past guests that have come on the show that you've been listening to. They're going to come back on and then they're going to help us learn new skills. It's going to be pretty sick.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the goal too is not even the goal. I should also say that you're in the Cosmic Canoe with us. You know what I'm saying? Right, Brother Jay? Like, it's not just us in it. It's not just
That's right.
our guests. You guys are all part of this journey that we're on together. So, get on board. We got some extra oars in this thing, and we can get after it.
I was actually at Dick's Sporting Goods. I called up there and said, hey, you guys open for like curbside pickup? They're like, actually, you can come in. I said, I can come in like a human?
Yeah,
and the girl laughed and she said, yeah, like a normal person. And I went into Dick's and I've never seen so many people buying fishing gear. But I was actually looking
at like fishing gear?
Dude.
I mean,
it's hot right now.
Yeah.
Outdoors are hot right now. But I actually looked at a canoe for the first time.
Really?
And the thing is about the canoe that I really didn't realize. I'm a bit of an indoor cat. I'm trying to change it. I'm trying to get out into the world a little bit more. But I was amazed at how big a canoe can be.
Dude, a canoe is fucking huge, bro. So, and remember when I
There's
sent you
plenty
those
of room
pictures?
for everyone.
Remember I see those pictures of like the canoe with like the Jolly Roger in it? Yeah. Like, it's big enough, bro. Like,
we can get a flag. We can get a flag up there.
Put one up.
But yeah, that's what I learned at Dick's was that if we're in a Cosmic Canoe, we got plenty of room for everybody to hop in. So, if you've been enjoying the ride so far, nothing's going to change. We're still going to be doing the podcast every week. Obviously, you're listening to this podcast right now. And if you're listening to it and you're like, wow, I want to also see them. Well,
here we are.
Go to YouTube, type in the Everyman Podcast. You'll see the little clip art of our clip art. Jeez, I'm dating myself.
Clip art, bro.
They even have clip art.
You went back on that one.
They even have clip art.
They still got clip art. It's still a thing. It's still a thing.
There's kids using Photoshop, whipping up graphics. They could get clip art.
Oh, you have a clip art.
Yeah, so you pop a little. So you see the little Everyman Podcast logo there. That's us.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe. Watch the podcast at your leisure on YouTube.
Do it.
You can enjoy it.
Do it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
So let's talk a little bit about how we got to, this point. The thing about Daryl and I, and this is kind of my MO, which is I'll get a seedling of an idea to do something, and I'm very passionate about it, and I will invest heavily in it no matter what it is.
Super passionate.
And just run with it. So we kind of had this idea to first do video. So we're like, okay, well, we'll start doing the video. We'll get the cameras. We got the cameras all set up. We got the lights all set up. We got the drum lights all set up. Everything's cool.
Yeah.
Taking it a step further, well, why don't we do a live show, like a variety show? So the live stream this Friday night on Twitch, the Everyman Podcast, live on Twitch, 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m.
It's going to be like a podcast, but there's going to be some call-ins. There's going to be some guests. There's going to be some videos. There's going to be some talking about things.
There's going to be some interaction.
Right, it's going to be some interaction, but it's going to be live.
Yeah.
You know what they say about live TV, Daryl?
Amen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Not anything, because Twitch does have some strict guidelines that we will adhere to. So there will be no nudity.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to be flashing you guys. Nobody wants to see all that.
We'll allude to it.
Well, somebody might.
Someone might.
But that's a totally different
We're going to be setting up an OnlyFans.com for that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, there's people making a lot of money on there. Who am I to judge?
Getting that cabbage.
Yeah, dude, you got one way or another, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to make a living. So it's gonna be a little bit of fun. It's gonna be something a little different. So, like I was saying, I'm thinking, brainstorming, how can we kind of add some production value to it. So, as you saw on our social media this week, and you'll see here at the end of this episode here on the first ever Everyman Podcast video HD simul broadcast. Is that simulcast? That's when they put it out on like
simulcast,
simul stream.
It's a
simulcast. It's the Everyman simul stream.
Say them both to cover all your bases.
Well, you don't want to leave anyone out. I don't want to offend any of the services.
Got to.
Putting this trailer together. So what started as just a little joke, like, hey, we should do a trailer, turned into a multiple parties involved, scripts being written,
multifaceted,
paper cutting, and paper cutting in the biz. Darryl, why don't you explain what paper cutting is?
So it's the equivalent of taking all of your ideas, putting them on paper in order to make sure that the run of the actual product that you're building via media is to spec. So it's what we like to call in the biz pre-production. Yeah,
the pre, the product, the post. Yeah,
yeah.
A lot of lingo, and that's that's one of my requirements to get into something. Is that there's got to be a lot of lingo, a lot of
acronyms,
a lot of terminology for me to learn, a lot of money for me to spend. Those are usually my requirements for hobbies.
Technical smoke and mirrors, so you can. Yeah. Shift.
More complicated, the better.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things that's been great, me working with you, bro, is like, I am kind of a fly by the seat of my pants sometimes creative, where I'll have a seedling of an idea, and then I'll just start going with it and adding things. And then it's hard to execute it because I don't always put it together on one thing, because in my head, I know where I'm going with it, which, it leads to me just being a control freak, and, nobody wants that. So, I've learned to, you got to let people into your thought process, and then you putting these things together on paper really help that, happen. So one of the things we talk about all the time here is collaborating. Okay. And, the point of us talking about what we're doing with the show, expanding it to a live platform, all that, it's not to pat ourselves on the back or to brag or anything. We want to show you guys that we're doing what we talk about all the time.
Oh yeah, living it.
We live it, we breathe it, and it's what's pushing us forward to try new things, and we encourage you to do the same. So
Gotta do it.
When you have an idea to do something, I've learned it's helpful to write it down. Yeah. So write down the things you're going to need to do to achieve it, and then just like the general plan. So once we have this general plan together, it's like, okay, well, we have footage from these past recordings. Right. We have this, we have that. Well, hey, what if we go in the backyard, we shoot a couple little things with an iPhone? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Sounds good. We'll do it. And then I'm like, why don't we take it another step? We always talk about networking, mm-hmm. and utilizing your network of friends and family and people you work with and your colleagues and everybody you can kind of bring in the canoe with you to help you achieve your goal.
Absolutely.
So immediately I thought of my brother Rob Nichols, who's going to be a guest on the show here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. Big Rob, shout out.
Rob is the co-founder of 360 Digital Studios here locally in Croydon, PA, and every single creative thing I've done, every band, you name it, everything I've done, Rob Nichols has helped me, look my best and express myself through that medium. So you guys could check out his partner's work in the description of the show. But I thought, hey, why don't we reach out to Rob, see if we can get in there and do some shoots. So next thing I know, we got the lights out, we got these crazy LED bars that do like
fire and
police sirens,
like Star Wars. Man, it was awesome.
And it was like pitch black in there, but the only thing that was on were these super high quality lights. It's pretty epic. So we start, just kind of brainstorming some ideas on the fly. So we had an idea of what we wanted to do, but then we left ourselves open to collaborate once we got in there. And that's really, we talk about it with Kenny Arnoff, we talk about it with everybody here, which is be open to collaborate to try and make your ideas better. So, Rob knows me. I'm trying to explain this idea that I have, and I'm like, well, we got the colors, the red and the blue. I'm trying to do this thing, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about SmackDown versus Raw, and obviously I'm a big wrestling fan. We're talking about Mick Foley over here, and there was this video game cover where Vince McMahon's face was half red, half blue, and it just made this cool thing. And next thing you know, we're pulling the lights down, we're setting them up, we're doing the whole thing, and that was like one of those moments of natural collaboration that you only can really get by leaving yourself open to work with other people. So that's how we put the visuals together. Now, Daryl being the stud, what do they call it? What's like a cool way to say video editor? Like, there's like a marksman or like a sharpshooter or like
the thing about it is it's such an exact. I mean, give me a coxman. It's just editing. You know what I mean? It's being a producer or associate producer, whatever the tagline you want to call it. It's just editing once you're in front of that NLE. So.
I think I like coxman.
I mean, especially if you're a big coxman. So
yeah, I think that's like a wainsman and a coxman. I think that's a sailing term. Anyway, somebody let me know what that means. But it's kind of cool to see your wheels turning, because we're, to make a 42-second trailer.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of footage and many hours of filming and editing and the color correction, all that stuff. And it was real eye-opening for me to see you do it, in real time. And the point of this is to say that we kind of put together, Daryl's structure and some of my ideas and Daryl's ideas. And then Rob comes in and he's got his ideas and he speaks my language because he knows the things I like. We have things in common. We've been friends for a long time.
Absolutely.
We work together. We have that common communication ability. And then we put together and we came out with something that we were really happy with.
The cool thing about all of it, though, and I know you talk about spitballing and kind of coming up with one thing and it kind of branches off into a lot of different things. The cool thing about that, even when it comes to the pre-production, is you always want to go into something with more. And the reason why is because the shot list, you're like, wait, Brother Jay's like, hey, DC, can you come up with like a shot list or something? And that way when we go to Rob, we like have everything we want. And then he can kind of disseminate, break it down, find focus on what it is that we need based upon on all of us getting together and then collaborating, right?
Right.
But we need you to be you and just fucking like, hey, well, how about we do this? Or if we had like flags, or if we had like this, you know what I'm saying? And just keep throwing it out there, because then we can find focus once we try and see what it is that we like and don't like. Right. And the next thing you know, hey, we're doing the wrestling deal, the colors, the Star Wars, and then the finished product after we collaborate even more, keep knocking this thing down during the video making process, trailer making process, is totally unique to us, totally unique to the Everyman brand, if you will, and it's awesome.
I'm a fan of it, and when you talk about a trailer, there's got to be music, yep. There's got to be a voiceover of some sort. So once we had it in our head, like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We got the footage together. We're sitting here now. Daryl, obviously, you listen to this podcast. The man's got some vocal cords over. The man's got some velvety tones. So I sat him down. I'm like, bro, say this, say that. I tried to get like a couple things out of him just as like a test. And I was putting some effects on and having a little fun.
Yeah.
And halfway through it, you're like, dude, hang on. I'm not the right man for this job.
I am not,
and
dude.
if you ever have the pleasure of calling Daryl Campbell's phone and you get his voicemail, sometimes when I need a good laugh, I need to smile, I just call, I listen to his voicemail, because he's just, it's just his voice. It's professional and soothing. So and I'm thinking you're definitely the right man for the job, but apparently there's deeper voices out there. So
yeah.
Daryl's like, I got a buddy, he's a professional, guy's worked on all sorts of Hollywood stuff, and you take it away there to explain how we got the voiceover on this.
I call him my little bro. He calls me his big bro. Obviously, his name's Enrique Joseph. He does movie trailers. He's like one of the voiceover artists, specialists, whatever the dictum would be for that is, and he does it for like Good Morning America. He's all over the board, all over the map.
Yeah, I'll put his Instagram in the show notes today. And it's
just so you guys understand, he's like 6'7", 6'8". He's like freaking a mountain, and he's 20. He's like 20 years old, and it's like his balls have dropped 20 times. It's ridiculous.
He's got an extra set.
It's so deep, but this is his craft. He's a specialist. This is what he does. And I'm telling Brother Jay, I'm like, yo, I got the perfect guy. And this dude gets on there fucking like Green Mile and just rips it. But it's because of the fucking music, Brother Jay. Like all that shit together in your fucking head, bro.
So
it just comes together.
Within like a day, I put together like a little script. Daryl and I collaborated on like fine-tuned the wording, what we wanted to say. Yeah. And, in my head, I'm imagining it like, in a world, like, like the movie trailer thing. So that's like where I kind of was writing for it. And Daryl helped me fine tune it. And, I guess the timing worked out. So like, yeah, you were like, hey, Brother Jay, can you send me that real quick? I'm like, yeah, here you go. Boop. And then like, I'm like, 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, boop, EJ. Okay, here we go. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, this is too,
unbelievable.
We've gone too far this time. And then, of course, you're going to hear some of the samples, as we progress here. But we did a lot of recording, and EJ was super professional, and awesome. You could tell why he is the man that he is. And again, with the collaboration and having that common language, I have like a very vast pop culture problem in my head. Huge. So like I can pull out a reference from. So that beyond my age, that sometimes people are like, "What are you talking about?"
What are you doing?
But it helps. But sometimes it comes off. So like he's like, I'm trying to explain what kind of in my head what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, give me, like
just a little bit.
Channel. Give me a little Vince McMahon. Give me a little Optimus Prime.
Right.
Give me a little, and it's like, oh, no problem. Here you go. And then like two revisions later, it's like. That's Vince McMahon.
We can't.
There it is.
I gotta put this out there. One thing for sure, and it's how you just have this way of bringing people in to what it is that you want. And by the way, you're like by far the quickest video reference meme finder that like it's like, no, I need you to do a little bit of like Vince McMahon when, and then Aretha Franklin was doing this. Here, let me send it to you.
You're like Vince McMahon and Aretha Franklin. I'm like,
do you think like, oh, that's gonna take him like 3? Okay, it's in my. Let me see.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, and you're like, wow, that is Vince McMahon introducing Aretha Franklin.
It's unreal.
If you've never seen Vince McMahon introduce Aretha Franklin, it's crazy because it's like WrestleMania 4. He starts out like she's doing the national anthem, and he starts out very like dignified, like ladies and gentlemen, and like halfway through he's saying Aretha, he remembers that he's Vince McMahon, the greatest wrestling promoter of all time. Goodness. And he slides into that. And he's like, Aretha,
dude, it's just like
it's amazing. It's so, and that's what we were going for.
Dude,
so a little bit of that, Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Maybe I should just start doing my own Vince McMahon.
Dude, just start rasping on everything. Hey,
Daryl. So once we had the voiceover together, we're really putting it together, and Daryl and I are like, okay, we got to have some music here. So I want to talk about the music portion of the trailer. So as you know, my background is in music, and it's how Daryl and I connected. And the boys in my band I want to give a special shout out to, specifically of course, first of all, Jose Martinez, field producer, team leader extraordinaire, the great one, Jose Martinez. Thank you for your support and all your efforts along the way to help us with this project here and all the other ones. But so Aaron Winthrop, Mike Serio, of course, and but mainly the one I want to talk about here first is Sean Potosny. So Sean and I have been playing music together, going on 10 years now, and super talented guy. He's partner in Extractus Media. He's got his band Gloves Off. It's a punk band. You can check them out in the show notes.
Nice.
But he and I have been talking about putting some new music together, some new ideas, and Sean has been sending me stuff, and he's like, hey man, check this out, and he'll send me something, and I'm like, man, that's really good. We're just creatively, him and I musically are on the same wavelength, and like he'll write something with my style in mind, and I hear it and I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly where to go with this, right? So he wrote some music and he shared it with me like a month ago or something, and it just stuck in my head. It was really fucking sweet. And we were talking about it. I was like, yeah, man, there's something there. I really dig there's something there. And then I was like, hey, man, we're doing this trailer. Can you... and I FaceTimed him. I'm like... And I basically described to him this song that he already had sent me. And I was like, down to the, like... it starts out with like a pick scrape and a dive bomb and this, and ends like this. And he's like... oh yeah, I think I got something. And then it was like, oh wait, yeah, that's why I have this in my head, because I already heard it and you already sent it to me.
The wheels turning, man.
Well, it's like I incepted myself. Like, I didn't realize, like, I knew I heard the song already, but like, I was like, almost like, it's like, it will be a great song. And then you hum the Macarena to somebody. You're like, yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, I wrote it already. So awesome. Sean was like, yeah, I think I got something, and hooked it up. And this is one of those things, again, I know it seems that we're doing a lot of nitty gritty, but the reason we're talking about this is because it's how we did it. And if it's interesting to you and you enjoyed it, hopefully you can try this methodology on a project that brings you happiness.
Absolutely. Bring people together.
So, I played it for Daryl, and by itself, Daryl, at first he was like, I don't know.
That was my editing. Like, I don't know. But the thing is too, like when you hear it, first, it comes to you in pieces, right? Like, it's like, all right, well, we get EJ's audio, right? And then you're like, oh my God, this fucking mic is, and then it's like, that's awesome, right? And then you get the music track, and you're like, without him with it, and you just thinking about it like separately, you're like, I don't know if this is gonna, and then like you, like you always do, you're like, no, Daryl. This is fucking
wasn't that
work.
stern. Well, I did. So I was like, well, let me and to clarify, it was like the music is badass, but I don't see how it fits together.
Absolutely.
And like this is where like I don't see how some of the visual stuff fits together, and Daryl lives in that world. And on the other hand, I kind of see in my ideas how the audio package comes together, and how all that stacks on top of each other to create the idea we're going for. So together we collaborated, we put our strengths together, and we both conceded things where it was like, maybe I wanted one creative thing and Daryl wanted, but it doesn't. The goal is to make a good project, a nice piece of work that you're proud of, that you can collaborate on, and you make those concessions. You pick your battles, and what you get is that perfect mix of, bringing your network together, bringing your skills to the table, and then also being able to work with somebody else. These are the things we've been talking about in the Everyman Podcast for a year and a half now. Add to that, a positive tone and lighthearted humor, and just, some cool LED. We're a little bit about the LED light. That's kind of my problem.
The LEDs. Brother Jay has been crushing it with the fucking LEDs.
So
man.
Yeah, there's gonna be some lighting cues. We're gonna have fun. But ultimately, to tag back along to Sean and his contributions here, Sean helped me, and through me helped Daryl and I take, it was like in black and white, and then now it's in color. And then on top of that, Aaron in the band, super talented engineer, mastered the audio for us. So then we have EJ's mastered audio, this mastered audio track, putting it together. Daryl's cutting it up in the kitchen like a dang chef, dude. And then the finished product comes out, and it was like, man, for a 42-second piece of work, dude, we put a lot of effort into this. A lot of talented hands were involved in it, absolutely, and a lot of good people helped us out. So again, Rob Mickles at 360 Digital Studios, thank you so much for your time and your efforts.
Thank you, brother. Aaron,
Sean, Mike Serio, Jose Martinez, thank you guys for your efforts on that. And the Canoe, the Everyman, thank you for being here, inspiring us to communicate with you, to grow with you, to bring new stuff forward and share some ideas. And look, we got a lot going on. Everybody's got a lot going on.
Going on, man.
The world's a bit worldly right now.
It is. What's
not going to change is our enthusiasm. We're stoked to be here. We're stoked to be looking upon thee and looking. Right now, we're looking at ourselves, but soon we shall see each other. And we're pretty pumped up about it, dude. So the whole thing,
I'm sweating right now.
And another thing I need to mention: we will not reveal, we shall not reveal, shan't, and wa'n't reveal the roles they play. However, McGee, Sakura, Joe Spina, thank you for your efforts. We're building a nice little canoe here, boys and gals, every man, every woman, and we're stoked. I don't know why I keep saying stoked. I never say that. I've been watching Tony. Well, it's funny. I've been watching Tony Hawk videos.
It's an awesome word. You can stay stoked.
I'm excited about Tony Hawk. I'm excited about Tony Hawk's game is coming back. And then I watched one video on there on YouTube, and then next thing you know, I'm watching, and my fiance comes to me and goes, "Why are you watching so many skateboarding videos?" Yeah. I'm like, I don't know,
dude. You know what it's like? It's like when we had Ryan Harris on the show, a little while ago, and I remember when I went out to Denver to do an interview with Vic Fangio for my highlight at Films, and he was doing this thing with his fingers.
Shaka.
And I swear, dude, like on the plane back, I'm just like, for no reason.
Yep.
Just like, and they're like, "Hey, thanks for them." I'm like, yeah, all right.
You never know. It's funny, like you go on a trip, and I've learned this like with just, and I think it's I don't know, maybe it's a everybody thing, but it's like a guy thing, like, you don't know what the thing's going to end up being, but like I remember, Sean and I went to NAMM a few years ago, and like we didn't have the same flights, and I got to LA like 10 minutes after him.
Yeah.
And I knew he texted me that he was at Baggage. So if you ever been to LAX, you come down, the escalator, and there's like this walkway that you can't see, but like you see people's feet first. So it just spontaneously, I started singing the Jungle Life Tarzan. And as I'm coming down the escalator, and then that was the first thing he heard me first.
Yeah.
And then
Did he join in? With
oh
you?
Yeah, but then for the rest of the week, that was it. It's still my ringtone to this day.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah. So sometimes things just click. Shaka Bra, stoked, Tony Hawk. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been watching a lot of skateboarding videos. The point is, I'm pumped. I'm happy.
Super.
I'm enthused.
Enthusiastic.
So let's talk about the hows and the whys. So, twitch.tv. That's how you get there. To go to Twitch, you can find us. You can also download the Twitch app. If you have Amazon Prime, which all of us do, you can use your Amazon account to log right in to Twitch. Okay, boom. So I'm talking to you, Mom, Dad. I already set yours up, Dad. You're good. But moms and dads that are listening to this podcast, I know you have Amazon.
Have it.
Download the Twitch app. If you don't know, ask your kids. Say, hey, little Timmy, how do I watch the Everyman Podcast on Twitch? And they'll say, what are you talking about?
Back in my day, we didn't have no...
See, you know, now we can do a lot of... Daryl and I always do a lot of facials.
Back in my day, we
now you can see.
Twitch.
Now you can see them. So this is good stuff. Ask your kids, hey, how do I sign up for Twitch? They'll sign you up, okay? If you don't want to go down the app hole... See what I did there? You can go to www.everymanpodcast.tv. You see it in the bottom. You see it in the bottom corner over there. And see, we're mirrored. I had to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Everymanpodcast.tv. Type that in to your browser, and it'll pull right up. And you can watch. You can chat. You can sign up for our email list. You can send us an email. You can click one button. All the podcasts are there for you to listen to. One spot. Everymanpodcast.tv.
You did it.
That's
and they said it couldn't be done, but you did it.
Not only that, you can now find us. Let me tell you something. We're on TikTok, okay?
Let me tell you something,
and guess
brother.
what? Let me tell you something, brother.
Let me tell you something, brother.
We're on TikTok, okay? The Everyman Podcast. Find us. Follow us. I don't even know what to do with TikTok.
Dude, there's
so much you can do. But find us and follow us, and I'm going to figure out what we're going to do with it. TikTok. YouTube, okay? Obviously, if you're watching this, you're watching it on YouTube. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Subscribe. I think you got to hit
that button.
You got to mash the butt.
Mash it.
Bing, bing, bing. That way you know that we're here. You know, eventually we're going to have a lot of bing, bing, bing graphics.
A lot of stuff.
Lightning.
I mean, smoke signals, carrier pigeons.
The whole deal.
You know, the Napoleon Dynamite is going to...
So, YouTube. The Everyman Podcast. Subscribe to us there. Every week, every Wednesday morning, you're going to get the podcast. Is going to be on your phone, however you listen to podcasts. But now, if you want to watch it too, you can watch it.
You can watch it.
You can listen to it, and you can watch it at the same damn time.
Clipped and drip.
That's, you know, in some cultures, that's how they do it. They watch it and they listen to it at the same time. That way, they really feel like they're...
Brother, what have we been saying about options? You
gotta have them.
Options now. Options.
You gotta have them. So you can watch it. You can listen to it at your leisure. Okay. Instagram, The Everyman Podcast. Twitter, The Everyman Pod. Ran out of characters there. They got a limit. So The Everyman Pod, that's all they could handle.
That's all they can
in terms of naming. So find us there. Okay. Twitch, the big enchilada.
Oh yeah.
The Everyman Podcast on Twitch. Type that in. It'll bring you right to us. So follow us this Friday night. June 12th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 2020. The year of the Everyman. The first Everyman Podcast live.
First one.
Okay. So, that being said, Daryl, we've said our thank yous. We've explained what we're doing.
We let it out of the cage.
It's all out. It's all wet.
You know what time it is right now.
I think the best way to wrap this little pony show up is to share with you the trailer. So, without further ado, next time you see our shiny faces,
our visage,
is going to be this Friday night on Twitch, 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m.
Everymanpodcast.tv in your web browser, The Everyman Podcast on Twitch. That being said, have a wonderful night and enjoy the trailer.
Let go.
In the year 2020, when the world least expected, everything changed. Everymanpodcast.tv, the Everyman Podcast you love, now streaming live on Twitch. Everymanpodcast.tv, gaming, drumming, exclusive interviews with the world's best musicians, elite athletes, and industry professionals. Everymanpodcast.tv, clipping and dripping, every way, every day. Everymanpodcast.tv with Daryl Campbell and Justin Vigil. Streaming now on a device near you.